You're so cute. You are so cute. Love you.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Crochet Cakes YouTube channel, a crafty crochet yarn type of channel. Today is podcast episode 113, possibly? And if it's not, it's 112. Clearly, I do not know anymore. Hello, I hope you've been doing well, you've been keeping safe, you've been keeping happy, and you've had crafty time, and that overall the universe has been kind to you and that you haven't lost any of your ability to love, spread happiness, and move forward in life. I know it's been a while since we've had a actual podcast episode. The last videos I've uploaded to my channel was a Halloween special. So yeah, we haven't talked since before Halloween, which is why I'm at the confusion of I do not know what podcast episode this is. But it is titled Under Pressure because it is the time of year where crafters, whether it be your business or your passion, feel the pressure of making handmade gifts for the holidays. I know I'm not alone in this, at least I don't think I'm alone in this. I believe we've had this conversation before where as a crafter you always feel that pressure to give handmade. And yes, giving handmade is beautiful and well thought, honestly. I prefer giving handmade to store-bought, mostly because, well, I'm gifting you my time and you were in my thoughts while I was making this, so I hope you enjoy it. But also, stores have been crazy lately. Yeah. Before we get into what I've been doing, since the last time we talked, what have you been doing? Please let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all of you that wished us a happy Halloween, Day of the Dead, or Samhain, whichever one of those you celebrate. Thank you, because we had a lot of fun finally doing my dream cosplay of Evelyn O'Connell and Rick O'Connell. I'll insert a little picture here if you didn't catch. Well, actually, no, you wouldn't have seen both of us in the video because the video went up on the 27th of October, 28th of October, and we dressed up on the 30th. My husband spent all day working on his 3D printed guns, getting them ready so they looked like the real ones that Rick uses in the movies. And he wasn't ready until like the last 5 minutes. So, yeah. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna fix my lighting because I have enough light coming from here, and I think there needs to be light here. I don't think that actually made much of a difference, but yeah. Where were we? But Clarissa, you're not wearing any crochet. No, I'm not. I actually am not wearing crochet because what I finished, which you can see a little sneak peek behind me, is very, very nice and toasty and beautifully warm. And we're back at the 60s with really with really bright sunlight, so it feels hot. But I am wearing handmade things. I am wearing a skirt that I made for EYF ages ago. It's a gathered skirt, and I know you can't really see it properly, but hopefully I've inserted a video so that you are seeing the skirt. I absolutely love this skirt. I love the print. Sorry, that was Alexa. I love the print, I love how it fits, and I'm actually amazed it still fits. I think I might have made it a little bit bigger than what I intended, and that's why it still fits, because it's just an elastic waist. I prefer my gathered skirts with an elastic waistband than a sewn waistband. I don't know. That's they feel more comfortable to me that way. But this skirt doesn't have pockets, which is a travesty. Every skirt needs to have pockets. If you don't believe me, read Bertha Banner, Victorian Sewing. She specifically talks about the importance of pockets. But what we're going to talk a little bit today about is the pressure that we as crafters feel. And as I've mentioned, we've talked about this before, but I have to say that as a crochet designer intent on publishing her own designs as well as working with magazines and publishing my designs there, the amount of pressure I'm feeling right now to make handmade things and finish my work it's outstanding, and my hands literally cannot keep up, which is when I remembered that a lovely viewer of this podcast who sent me a gift a while ago, her name is Zebra Kitten on Instagram, she had recommended Tiger Balm a while back, and I had actually completely forgotten about it until I went to the grocery store and I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try it. It's a lifesaver. It's this little compact glass case. It's Tiger Balm. It's available. I bought mine at Walmart. It works so well. You really just kind of have to warm it between your hands and then rub it where you're feeling any muscular aches or pains. It's beautiful, and it smells so much better than Bengay. I cannot stand the smell of Bengay. So thank you for recommending that. It has helped, and it's how I've been able to kind of step back, tend to myself and my body, but also work. And honestly, I've been prioritizing work to any other type of gift making, which is sad. But if you, like me, are feeling this pressure and you still want to give a little handmade something for the holidays that doesn't take up too much time, I have written several blog posts. I wrote several blog posts last year about little things that you can make to just spread some cheer this Christmas. And one's a very quick embroidered Christmas tree ornament, and there is a blanket. Do not walk away. Do not. It's very quick. It uses a 15mm hook and 3 strands of bulky weight yarn held together, so it grows really fast. Not recommended as a big blanket because of the stitch I've used, but you could potentially use the same number of stitch counts and just linked double crochets or something like that for a baby blanket. I'm pretty sure that would work. And also commissions. I've actually finished 2 commissions, and sorry. I'm just staring off to the side and I realize that I have another finished item to share with you that I can share with you, because the other 2, as I said, are commissions. One of them I do have with me. I am publishing in collaboration with We Crochet, and I can't share it with you yet, but I love it, and I already have plans to use that base pattern to make something else, and I'm very excited about that. But I do, barring those 2 finished items, I have 2 more to share with you that I just realized I never shared in the podcast. And I also have 2 knit items that are going to be gifts, and a crochet item that I've just been steadily working along in. And some of these you've seen if you follow me on Instagram, which incidentally is the best place to keep up with me because I love sharing. Maybe I overshare. It's part of what I do, oversharing. But I thank you for still sticking with me, even though you're probably like, Clarissa, why? But I thank you. So yes, if you just need some little quick ideas on things to do for handmade gifts, then I'll leave the links to those blog posts down below. And incidentally, if you want a little bit more Christmas inspiration, you could check out last year's Vlogmas. I don't think I'm going to be doing Vlogmas this year because it's pressure. And it's not only that, we're actually going home mid-December. So I don't know how much crafting I'm going to be able to share with you. And I like Vlogmases that are basically slice of life kind of thing, so you see a little sneak peek into my life, because I don't know about you, but I am nosy. So, I mean, I'm not going to be all up in your face nosy, but if you're sharing a Vlogmas of how you decorate your tree, I want in. If you're sharing a picture of, I don't know, how you organize your kitchen, I want in. So basically, I just wanted to share with you some of those ideas in case you're feeling the crafty pressure. This year, my husband and I decided that we're just going to give a lot of hand-baked, you know, I'm going to be baking batches of cookies and things like that and putting little baskets together for our friends and neighbors. It's not faster than going to the store, but I think it's just more special because you don't, at least I always feel, I don't know if I'm giving to you adds to your junk or where it's going to end up. A cookie, a well-baked cookie, that's just going to be in your stomach. So it's a good gift in my book. Anyway, I think I've been recording for 10 minutes already and we have yet to discuss any of the elephants in the room. And I'm going to start with elephant number 1 because you can actually see it behind me. Now, unfortunately, I put it on my, you know, I think we discussed on Instagram what to name her and I don't remember what I've named her. So we're calling her Faux Lisa right now because I forgot what I named her. But she is my model and she is wearing, goodness, can I bring her down? Pause while Clarissa figures this out. I just thought it was easier to take her off the stand. We'll worry about that later. But this, you still can't see her completely, Clarissa. Okay, we'll show her in parts. But this is the low tide sweater, and thank you for La Matica who helped me name this sweater. I honestly didn't know what to name this sweater. So I went to good old Insta Friends and I put a survey, well not a survey, a questions box, and people voted on suggested names and I picked my favorite. And she suggested Marea Baja, which is low tide, so yeah, I love it. I love it. So, what can I tell you about this sweater other than I absolutely flippin' love it, and I've been meaning to make and design something for like this ever since I made a cropped sweater for winter, which is a pattern by Andy Satterlund, who I think no longer designs. It's been a while. I believe. She hasn't popped up on my feed because, you know, Instagram does that thing now where people you follow don't actually come up on your feed. But we're not addressing that. We're addressing the low tide sweater. This low tide sweater has an interesting construction that you may or may not be familiar with. I've come across several patterns that use it and it's always exciting to learn a new technique, right? So the low tide sweater starts at the top back and we work our way forwards and we join here and then we keep working our way down, and this feels so weird. Okay, so we work our way down and I've used a total of 350 grams to make the size 2, which is a decision I took consciously. Why? Because when I design, I tended to design for my body. And I know that I am a small, I'm a 33-inch bust, 33.5, depending how many donuts I ate. 33-inch bust for the most part, and my waist fluctuates between a 28.5 and a 29-inch waist, which would make it a medium, and my hips are pretty large. So I do not fit into like the standard body because how many of us really fit those standard body measurements? But they are helpful when you are designing because it allows places for people to fluctuate in your design so that they can adjust it to their body, which is of course my hope with every design that I make. I give you instructions for a standard body and then I look forward to seeing what changes you make to fit your body if you want any. So why do I say that? Well, because 33-inch bust fits me perfectly, but her waist actually follows the 25-inch waist for a size small, which is 3 inches too small for me. Nonetheless, as you are going to be seeing in the pictures that I'll be posting, she fits. She does tend to glide up the tiny bit, but I can live with that because I absolutely love that vintagey look of a tight fit. However, of course, if you are a 33-inch bust and a 26-inch waist, this will fit normally, and you can always choose to make less decreases, of course. So we start at the bust, and then we, hope I didn't break it, and then we decrease for the waist. And once we've done that, we pick up for our sleeves, which are, as you can see here, they are slightly puffy sleeves, and they are gathered at the cuff, right? At the cuff, they are gathered, and they end right above your elbow. Of course, you could choose to make longer sleeves. I think that would look really well too, or you could do 3/4 inch sleeves. That would also look fantastic. This sweater is honestly pretty simple in stitch-wise. It uses single crochets and slip stitches to make this texture, and then we finish with a single crochet rib, and we pick up stitches for the neckline as well. And in case, because I don't think I mentioned it, it's made with worsted weight yarn, and it's using possibly my favorite colorway of the Wool of the Andes range, which is Cadet, and this is a kind of Civil War blue. Now, don't at me, I'm just saying I like the Civil War blue uniform color. I'm not saying I'm a Confederate or anything like that. That would make absolutely no sense, given that I am Puerto Rican, which, if you're curious, means I have a mix of African American, Spaniard, or European, I haven't really done the test, and Taino Indian, and Taino natives, which were the native people of the island of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Cuba. Yeah. Sorry. Let's talk about this sweater. I don't know if you've seen me like just hugging it, but I love this sweater a lot. Mucho, 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 mucho. I love it, and I want to wear it again. I have to say, when I wore it, I wasn't wearing any sleeves, and it was 55 degrees outside, and it was still beautiful to just have this worsted weight hug with me. And it's actually given me an appreciation for worsted weight yarn that I didn't have. So I'm very happy with this sweater. I hope you are too. She is scheduled to come out sometime in December, I hope, or January, which you might consider late for some winter projects. I do apologize, but it's just the time frame that it's worked between my tech editor and me. So this design, the low tide sweater, will be making its way to you. I am so happy, and I'm especially happy with the contrasting little details on it as well, which was a side effect of me not having enough yarn, but then I found more yarn in my stash of this color, so it just worked out that way. What can you expect when I completed the pattern? The pattern is complete, it's written and everything, but once you get your hands on it, what can you expect from my pattern? Well, what you can expect is a pause for me putting this back up. So what you can expect from the low tide sweater pattern and any of my published patterns, starting with the 8 cake sweater onwards, I believe, you can find a video discussing construction and special areas in the sweater that I think will be problematic. So for example, how I attach the ribs, how we pick up stitches for the sleeve, how we pick up stitches for the neckline. You can find all those details in my video tutorials for this sweater. You can also find the instructions as well, the written instructions. You can find the notes on whether or not I've altered a design for me, like if I've already made one sample, but I can include how I would alter for my specific body type. You can also find that. You will always find my measurements so that you can correlate the finished item and how it looks on me versus how it would look on you. And I mentioned the video, and you'll also be able to find extra pictures that I don't generally include in my blog posts. Pictures from all angles, to be honest. You'll find some sleeve pictures, back pictures, front, side, just to give you kind of a 360 look. And at the end of the video tutorial or video help, you will also find a video of me wearing the garment so you can see how it moves, how it flows, and you can have a better idea of maybe how you want to adjust it for yourself. So that's what I include in the paid for versions of my PDFs. So while these patterns may be available for free on the blog, you certainly get more benefits if you purchase a PDF. And lately I've been publishing on Etsy, but I have to say I am starting to upload some of my patterns to Ravelry because I just find Ravelry to have the best system in terms of updating. So if I have to do any correcting to the pattern or schematics or anything like that, Ravelry lets you know and you just download a new copy. Whereas for Etsy, I either have to write it in the description, which most people don't read, or I have to message every person that's ever bought that pattern individually. And yeah, Ravelry is just an easier place for that. So yes, this is the low tide sweater. I'm excited to get her going your way, and I'm even more excited to see what colors you make it in. I've ordered more yarn to make it, this time more for my body type, so I will still be going with a 33-inch bust, but I will be doing less waist decreases, and I will potentially be using more yarn because of this. I will let you know when I actually make that sweater. So in terms of finished items, that is it. But for works in progress, let's continue on with some crochet. And you're seeing a theme here, right? This is the low tide sweater. I'm gonna keep referencing it because it's fun, it's relatively easy, it's cozy, it's warm, it's everything I've ever wanted in a sweater. Maybe a little bit loose around the waist so I can eat some more donuts when I want, but hey, life. So now we're going to full-on greens, well, blues and greens, because I'm just showing you a sleeve of a project I'm working on. You've seen me mention it on Instagram. This is my faded sweater, and oh boy, does it look great. Oh, these colors are blending so well together. But yeah, this is a faded sweater. You can see the details on it because I'm walking you through the process of how I'm making it, how I'm making these decisions and all that. On my channel, I've already posted a video, I think in March was the first time I posted a video. I'm working on part 2, and part 2 will include a very specific reverse raglan shaping in crochet, which I'm almost ready for. So I wanted to share this with you because once I finish that reverse raglan shaping in terms of walking you through the process, that'll be the end of it, and then I just really have to finish it so I can take the video of me wearing it and walk you through my final observations on that specific project. Well, this specific project. So like I said, if you want more details on this faded sweater, then please check out that video. I'm using 5 different yarns for this, and they are all fingering weight except for this one. This one is sport weight, the last one I'm using. 1, 2, 3. I know you only see 4 here, but there will be 5. There will be 5. So yes, these are my sleeves. This is the second one. I'm ready actually to join, which will be done maybe not today, but possibly tomorrow. Today's Saturday, if you're interested. November what? I'm not sure. Right, so in terms of the pressure of work, it's mostly been here, honestly. I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to finish this faded sweater because I did start it last year. And of course, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to get this low tide sweater as perfect as I can get it for you. I'm even thinking of redoing a part of the tutorial. I'm gonna watch it and see how it actually speaks to me, and then I'll decide if I'm gonna film it all again. Ouch. So that's low tide, that's the finished hobby tee vest, and that is my sleeve. Continuing on with pressure, let's talk about, and item that had been sitting in my Area 51 of Whips corner, and I told you guys I was going to frog it all back and start it again. It's living in this lovely palmistry bag that says always throw spilled salt over your left shoulder. It is a matching or a twinsy one to the one I made for my mom that says grow rosemary by your garden gate and stuff like that. It's from Practical Magic. So this is the second As If Tee. The first, well, As If Tee 2.5, because the first one, you guys know, is the one I made for me. It's green. Don't wear it often because mohair itch. The second one, it was this exact same yarn, and I cast on for my sister, but I had cast on properly like the pattern calls for with the ribbing, etc. Didn't like, somewhere I made a mistake with the rib and I wasn't liking how it was looking in the pattern. So I ripped it all back. I frogged it, ripped it all back, and I started again. And this time I want speed, because while I do enjoy knitting, I need the speed of being able to finish something and send it for Christmas. Luckily, I'm Puerto Rican, which means Christmas isn't over until the 6th of January. You guys should take my advice, because it gives you a whole other 2 weeks to work on your projects and send them, and it is still Christmas. So that's my advice to you. As If Tee 2.5. So I ripped it back and I started again. It hasn't grown that much, but I did just cast it on just last week, and I've been working on it about adding a row per day, so it's pretty good, I have to say. I'm very happy now. I'm still using my 4mm needles. The pattern recommends a 4.5mm needle, but I am using DK weight yarn, not worsted, and I do have a very loose knitting gauge. Now, you might ask, why is it curling up? Well, it is curling up because I actually didn't do a rib. I'm gonna crochet the rib. You heard that right, I'm gonna crochet the rib. In terms of trying to cut back on my knitting time, I decided to knit the whole body of the sweater, but make all the finishing touches in crochet to possibly be able to speed things up a little bit. Not because I think we should hurry in our crafting, that's part of the pressure we put ourselves on, right, to hurry handmade, but it is handmade. You are making it with your hands and you are just one person. There's only so fast you can go. I mean, well, Mina Phillips can crochet 30 socks in a month, which is, let's not even go there. My mind will be blown and then the podcast will stop because I won't be able to interact with you. I'm not exaggerating. So I'm using a discontinued yarn for this. It is a Cascade Baby yarn, and it is Cascade Bentley. It is 75% acrylic, 25 superwash wool, 100 grams, 207.8 yards. Yeah, so I guess it's a light worsted, not a DK, but it's okay. It's very soft and lovely, and I am hoping my sister will love it just as much as I do, because it's black yarn. Although I have to say, knitting with black yarn, for me, it's easier than crocheting with it because I'm not looking down on it, honest. The other knit item that I've got, and I think I sped through this, honestly. The other knit item that I've got is a pair of socks. Well, it's one lonely sock, but it's almost ready for its toe. And then I will film, because I'm going to cut in the heel and hopefully use a light enough yarn that you can actually see the process of me crocheting a heel into a knit sock. Now, I've already published that separately, kind of the process video of how I determine this, so I will link that here down below if you haven't watched it. But I do want to do a proper tutorial, and this is leading in the way towards that, because the first time I did it with kind of a mock cable, and I think that is more stretchy than just plain knit stitches. So for this sock, it's for my brother, and I'm knitting just stockinette in the round. I'm using a Regia sock yarn that I bought at EYF in 2018. Yes, it's, yeah, because we didn't go in 2019 and then 2020 pandemic. So yeah, 2018, I bought this at EYF 2018. It is Regia. I do not know the colorway or the color band or anything, because when it comes to skeins, I always misplace the color bands. Don't know. It just happens. Does that like happen to you? Do you also misplace the color bands and then just wonder forever what it was? I do know it was Regia. So plain stockinette. They're going to be a pair of shorties because my brother is going to be moving from New Hampshire to a more southern state, so I don't think the winter will be so wintry. And I wanted to account for that. Also, I admit it, I get, what's the word? When you just want to get things done and you reach a point where you just want to see it done. That's how I am with socks. So, bearing that in mind, I made a pair of shorties and I'm going to crochet the heel, which I'm very, very excited about too. And this is almost ready for the toe, which is also very exciting because this is at least one present that will be ready for Christmas. If you hear that, my dog is scratching himself. So what can I tell you about this yarn other than it is Regia? It is a self-patterning, and we've got some indigos, some navy blues, some whites, some like that Crayola green from the box, not the forest, not the pine, just like the plain Crayola green. And then we've got a more limey green, chartreusey green, if you will, which I live for those little chartreusey stripes. And that is followed by teal, which you'd be able to see if I held them this way. That is followed by teal and then more navy blues, and then just the pattern keeps repeating. I love it. I've discovered that I'm more of a fan of self-patterning yarns for socks than I am of indie dyed yarns. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on commercial self-patterning versus indie dyed? I'm not looking to start a fight or anything like that. I'm not dissing indie dyed yarn. I'm just curious because honestly, I find more joy in knitting socks with commercial yarn than I do with indie dyed. I think it's because indie dyed can be more expensive, understandably so, and I don't actually want to put it on my feet. I want to preserve it in all its pristine condition and glory, I guess. And a garment is a good way of preserving it in my mind because it won't, hopefully it won't felt. Oh, speaking of felting, did I say that the low tide sweater is crocheted with wool of the Andes? I think I did. So, machine washing is discouraged. I wouldn't want you to make the beautiful low tide sweater and then felting it. I did that with a sweater of mine last year. It was going to be a design. Okay, so I forgot what I was saying because my camera cut me off, but I'm trying to mentally review what I said. I think I told you everything I need to tell you about the low tide sweater. I'll include some pictures of me wearing it so that you can see up close and personal, or hopefully Clarissa, editing Clarissa, I hope you've already included some pictures. I really want to get this pattern out to you because I love it and I think you're gonna love it too. It's got a little something for everyone in terms of how you can customize your fit. I'll definitely include some notes if you want to customize. For example, maybe you don't like things to be so tight around your bust, then go with the next size up, but do decreases that will get you to your waist size. Things like that, you know? In terms of Yarny content, I do have some things to share. I've bought yarn. I haven't bought yarn in a while, and I've made 2 yarn purchases. One was because, hello, all the yarn sales that have been going on. How are you guys coping with all this bombardment of yarn sales? I'm so tempted by everything. But the one I did purchase from was We Crochet, and I hope that by the time they get to my order, everything I ordered will be packed because that's got yarn to make a second version of this sweater. I don't actually have worsted weight yarn in stash, and I don't have any amounts of fingering weight yarn that I can hold double. Although, having said that, I think this will also be a great stash busting sweater. Like, you could stripe it. I think that would look really, really nice. Sorry, I got distracted by possibilities. So, getting back to yarn I bought. So I did make that Yarny purchase, and I've also, a while back, bought some yarn just for me, plain old selfishness, and it's from Hobby Yarn. It's Hobbii, Hobby Yarn, and I've never used any of their yarn before, but I've seen them advertised on Instagram a lot, and I've seen people that I follow crochet with it, design with it, multiple things. So I ordered some sock yarn, and this is in their Christmas sock wool, 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide, 2% polyester. It's glitter version, and it's designed in Denmark, made in Turkey, and it fits the Confidence in Textiles standard. And I should have bought yarn if I'm reading. I should have bought my glasses if I'm reading. Anyway, I absolutely love this color. It's got some stripes of pine green and then a more limey green, some faded reds. I think it's meant to be white, but it's a little pinkish white, and then proper red, and I'm excited. What I want to do with this is make a version of the Vintage Waves socks, which is a crochet sock pattern. It's actually my most popular sock pattern, so thank you to everyone that's ever made it and shared it on Ravelry. It's got like 25 projects on Ravelry, which is so exciting to me. I get so excited anytime somebody buys patterns or messages me asking for pattern help or anything like that. I get really excited because it means that you really like what I do, and of course it helps keep my dream alive. And additionally, if you've purchased a pattern, then you've helped me buy groceries for the household, because while my husband has taken over most of the running costs of the house, I haven't wanted him to take over fully, so I've been doing what I can to buy groceries, and your pattern purchases are a big part of why I can still buy groceries for this house. So yeah, thank you. I know I've never really mentioned it, and I'm under no obligation, I guess, to mention it, because you don't expect a company like a huge normal companies to just talk about what they do with the money you spend on their items, right? But I just wanted to know that it means a lot. And the blog visits too. Every one of those counts towards monetary compensations. So even if it's not a lot, every little bit helps, honestly. And I wanted to say thank you. And we're in the season of, I think where I'm the happiest. Not because I don't enjoy summer, but there's just something so special about Christmas, and it just gives a brighter outlook on life. So yeah, I wanted you to know that if you were feeling down today, then know that by visiting my blog and by purchasing a pattern from me or recommending me or any of that, you are helping me buy groceries for my family. So yeah, thank you. I really do mean that. But that was a huge side note, and I don't want to begin crying. So, back to pretty yarn. So I bought this yarn because I wanted to make the Vintage Waves sock pattern, hence contrasting. I'm going to hold them up close. I think this is hello. The red is not the same type of red. This red is more of a deeper red. This one's more scarlet in nature, but I'm still going to use them together. And I will make a pair of knit socks and a pair of crochet socks out of this. Hopefully I can do that with 50 grams of contrasting and 100 grams. Yeah, I'm excited. The other yarn hasn't arrived yet, so I can't share it with you. I did make another, that's all the yarn purchases I've made. But what did arrive a week ago, yeah, I think on the 1st of November, was a new book. And, well, new to me, because I tend to buy my books from Better World Books, which is a used book website. They do not sponsor the podcast. I'm just been a fan of Better World Books for the better part of my adult life. So since I was 18 years old, I've been purchasing used books from them, both for school, for entertainment, and for crochet purposes. I always go there. Well, I also check Amazon, but that's because you can look at the content of the book and see if it's something you would want to purchase, which is very, very helpful in terms of crochet pattern books and things like that. But anyway, I received this book, The Chai Factor, a novel by Farah Heron. I hope I said that correctly. If I didn't, please correct me. And this one happened to be in the Toronto Public Library, so yeah. What can I tell you about this book? I absolutely enjoyed it. I don't want to term it a romance novel because then you just expect like trashy bodice rippers. It's not that. Part of me wants to give it some Pride and Prejudice connotations, but I think that would be selling the book short. Not because I'm not a fan of Jane Austen. You guys know that it is a truth universally acknowledged that my favorite novel is Northanger Abbey because I am Catherine Morland, just older and yeah, anyway, side note. But because there are certain elements of prejudice and also pride that are referenced by either of the main characters. So in that sense, it has a bit of a Mr. Darcy, Elizabeth Bennet kind of vibes, but just in that sense of literal pride and prejudice. Let me just read to you what it says. Let me just read to you what the thing is. So, Amira Khan has a no dating rule. 30-year-old engineer Amira Khan has set one rule for herself: no dating until her grad school thesis is done. Nothing can distract her from completing a paper that is so good her boss will give her the promotion she deserves when she returns to her job. Amira leaves campus early, planning to work in the quiet basement apartment of her family's home. But she arrives home to find that her grandmother has rented the basement to a barbershop quartet? Seriously? The living situation is awkward. Amira needs silence and the quartet needs to rehearse for a competition. Not to mention that Duncan, the small-town baritone in a flannel shirt, is driving her up the wall. But clashes between Amira and Duncan turn into a simmering attraction. How can she be interested in someone who doesn't get her or her family's culture? Is this guy even worth the effort? Amira soon learns that there is more to Duncan than meets the eye, and that, to her surprise, this singer may be the only person who sees her at all. So, as a little glimpse on that, this book touches on xenophobia, homophobia, racism. I think I'm missing one. Oh, and sexism. It does touch on all those things, and how constant exposure to racism can just raise your shields to always think the worst of people, and how sometimes taking comfort in the fact that we're not like our friends in terms of, oh, my friends are racist, but I'm not, and we take comfort in that, and how that leads to non-action, and that non-action can still hurt someone we care about. So I really enjoyed this book. You can find it on Amazon, you can find it on Kindle. I just, like I said, I always prefer to go for the secondhand option if I can. So I recommend it. And the reason I actually came across this book was because Amazon, if you're an Amazon Prime member, every month, I think, you get the chance to pre-order a book that they have in this list of books that you can take for free for that month. And it was about teenagers, but it was written by Farah Heron, and the plotline intrigued me, so I decided to check more of her work out, and I found this. And 30 years old, I'm 31, I think I'm 31, so it sounded interesting. Have you read this book? What do you think about it? What do you think about her writing style? If you've read anything else from her, I quite enjoyed it. The print option, just in case you're wondering, it's pretty big. for a print book anyway, and it is 385 pages. Quick read, lovely read. Gives you some things to think about in all its light reading as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So that is the last of what I've been up to be honest. I don't, guys, other than baking numerous amounts of bread and cooking and cleaning, taking care of my dog, I just work on crochet and that's my life. Do I see the sun? Sometimes. Today's very sunny, actually. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm probably forgetting so many things that I wanted to talk to you about. I used to get into the habit of any time a podcast idea just popped into my head, grabbing my bullet journal or my planner, whatever, and just kind of jotting it down in a specific section just called notes. But I've fallen out of habit of doing that. Just like anytime it happens, I'm like, ooh, junk journal, bullet journaling, and then I don't do it. So I have to get back into that habit. Anyway, I hope that this episode has kept you company, that you are excited for the low tide sweater as I am to make another one and release it onto you. If you have anything you want me to chat to me about or you want me to touch on the podcast, just comment down below, or you can message me, you can email me, you can write to me via Instagram. Ravelry I rarely check, so if you have a question, it's much better directed through Instagram or my email or my blog. I always read those comments as well, and of course there's the contact section of my blog that you can write directly to me, and it is me that answers because I am a one-woman show. Yes, yes indeed, I am. So first of all, thank you for tuning in to this podcast episode, spending a little bit of crafty time with me, and also keeping the conversations going in the comment section. I love to interact one-on-one with you. And I think that for today, that is it. I'm sure I could keep yammering on to you guys about anything and everything that just pops into my head, because my brain is like, ooh, what about this? Ooh, what about this? Just like it's doing now. Honest. So I will leave you here, and I'll simply wish you happy crafting, and please take care of yourself and your loved ones, and just remember to spread joy and love and cheer out into the world. The world needs more love and more understanding. And if you're capable of spreading it via comments, content creation, or whatever it is that you do in your everyday life, then why not? Why not? So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sending you guys so much love and a huge, huge hug. Bye.